Hey, hey everyone, welcome to another Wednesday night OWCP Chats with Chris and Gini.
Oh, brother.
I know we haven't been on, we've missed you guys, but we've been doing some fun, exciting things with all these grand openings, seeing everyone, and we're so appreciative of everybody that joined us last, was it Thursday? Last Thursday. In Manhattan. It was a great turnout.
No, it was so incredible.
Yeah, we had branch presidents, APW, NALC. I remember the TSA guy got stuck in traffic coming from Long Island. So if you're on here tonight, you know who you are. We appreciate that you were on your way. We were probably still at the office till about 9:30.
Yeah, we just hung around and hung out and talked for as long as we could.
Yeah, and just to see if anybody else was going to show up. But it was a great turnout.
Yeah.
And you guys have, I have to say, rock star doctors in Manhattan, New York.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome up there.
Yeah, and if you guys saw, so you guys know, I did a post on my personal page that they are hiring for a front desk. It's for part-time and will turn into full-time. So if you want that information, just go on my personal page at Gini Helms and then message me and I'll give you more information and the pay and everything.
Yeah.
Other than that, today we're going to just spend all of our time talking about narratives.
Well, not just narratives. How to get your claim accepted.
Right.
Narratives is part of it.
And I have to say, I showed this to Chris last week. It was a claims examiner, a retired claims examiner. When I said it on the post, it is not the claims examiner's fault that your claim gets denied. Don't blame DOL. You guys are always saying, oh, DOL is so hard, they're this and they're that. Even he said, thank you for posting that and saying that it's not the claims examiner's fault. It is, they have to look for certain things, certain wording, and this is why our doctors are trained on how to write winning narrative reports.
Now, with that said, claims examiners are free to say yes more often than no.
Right.
You don't. You say no way too often, but as you're going to hear tonight, that's more the doctor's fault than the claims examiner. And you have responsibility too. And so tonight we're going to talk about what you can do, what your doctor can do. I'm even going to give you some tips that you can give your doctor. This is all new information. Well, not all of it, but some of it is very new, so new that the information is not even in the books. So if you want these, by the way, and don't have them already, like thousands of other people do, you can go to www.breakingowcp.com, or you can hit the shop tab here on this Facebook page and it'll take you there. But these books have all the rules, laws, regulations about OWCP. They have strategies that you can use to do what we're going to talk about tonight, which is win your case and not suffer the life destruction, as this book says, that too many people have. So check out the book, breakingowcp.com. You can get them both for like $8.97 a piece if you buy them together, and the shipping is on the house.
And don't forget, we understand right now, we've let a lot of our doctors know that right now, as of October, well, that we just finished, until probably February, because you guys have to do Amazon packages and deliver.
The postal employees.
Yeah, this is for USPS. It's going to be crazy. You are going to get injured. We're sorry to say that. There's going to be some injuries. But if you do get the books, it'll at least help you get started in the right direction, know what forms you're filling out, and how to go about the process without getting harassed by the supervisor. Plus, when you have the book in hand and they do say that no, they can't do something, all the rules, laws, and regulations are in there.
That's right. And it's easy to understand. I took a very complicated system and made it easy for all of us to read and get on the first time through. And they're fast books, so you're not going to take a long time reading them. You can read them in like one evening. Yeah.
So again, get your pen and your paper and whatever you need. If you're looking for locations, all you need to do is go to www.federalinjurycenters.com. All our locations are on there. We are in the process of getting more doctors. So hopefully by January, there's another set to put up on that list.
And we have some that have signed up with us recently, but they're not trained. Obviously, they're brand new.
Right.
So until they're ready to help you the way I expect them to, you won't see them on the website. But when you see them on the website, that means they're good to go.
And one more last housekeeping thing. Don't forget to like, follow, and share. I'm at almost 92. Well, we are at like a little over 9,200 followers. So if you're new on here, welcome.
Yeah.
We do this every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All we do is educate, give you advice about OWCP. We just try to stick to OWCP issues just because that's what we know. And,
I know all kinds of other stuff, but we're only going to talk about this.
And on top of that, don't forget, those of you that are in Charlotte, North Carolina, next Wednesday night, and I will go live for just a few minutes like I did last week to show you the office, show you the staff and all the doctors and everything. Don't forget, RSVP. Either you could just message me or you can call the office phone number. The girls are going to gladly take your RSVP. There'll be light appetizers and drinks. And there's a special bonus because we're in North Carolina. Eric
We're gonna meet Michael Jordan?
Blowers. No.
Oh.
Eric Blowers, the federal attorney, will be there. So those of you that are involved with any third-party issues, you're welcome to come and ask him. So come on. Give us a break to talk and just go harass Eric.
And if any of you thinks that you like Eric more than me, I forgive you in advance. I'm always telling Eric, they like you more than they like me.
I know, and he's like, no, they don't.
Yes, they do.
So, again, tonight, don't forget to like, follow, and share. This is a very, very important topic, especially how we're coming to...
This is the most important topic.
The end of the year.
Yep.
And injuries will happen because you got rain, you got snow, you got ice. So please remember, be careful out there. Stay warm because it's going to get cold in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Stay warm.
Be careful.
And share because this is a very important topic.
I want to say hello to Renee Marie, to Ron Jackson, Ron Speakman, and Tonya is on here as well.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate you all being here. Everyone, please share. We really like the shares.
I'm sharing, so you should be sharing.
Yeah. Remember, don't let someone else be alone, so let them know this is going on.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got?
Get the book for them, too. Like, I'm telling you guys, that's a great Christmas present. It's super cheap. If you have Secret Santa, it's less than $20 for $2.
A Christmas present that can literally save someone's life.
Yeah, so order away and let's go. So grab your pen and paper. Hold your questions for a minute while he goes over and starts about narrative writing, the pros and cons about getting your claim accepted while I share. So hold your questions.
So again, this is not all about narrative writing because you don't write narratives. With that said, check this out. So last week, sometime she posted something. And 3 people, their comments stood out so much that I remembered them today and asked her to reread them to me before we started. Somebody on there said that their doctor was going to charge them $500 cash to write a narrative.
And then somebody else said $900.
Someone else said they were going to charge them $900 to write a narrative. And then some doctor told someone, if you write your own narrative, I'll sign it. I don't know what kind of BS that is. But that's not how medicine works, Doc. You got to do the work. So if your doctor wants you to pay for a narrative, you've gone to the wrong place. Leave immediately and find an OWCP doctor, which won't be easy unless you go to federalinjurycenters.com and check the locations tab. It's very likely we're growing so fast that there's going to be one near you if they're not already. So I even made a list tonight to make sure I didn't miss anything. And as I was making the list, I realized I'm going to say some new things that I haven't said before. So I do hope you're taking notes, and then I hope you'll ask me lots of great questions based on this list to make sure everyone understands what's going on. But I wrote a list of 10 things, and I love 10-point lists. If it was 9, I would still be thinking of what the 10th thing is. And if it was 11, I'd have to make it 15.
That's Chris.
Weird like that.
Yes, he is.
So, anyways, this is thing number 1. Report immediately. So these are 10 ways to get your claim accepted, okay? The goal is stop deny claims. The first thing that I see all the time is people waiting to report. Waiting, 7 days, waiting 30 days, waiting 2 years, waiting more than 3 years. At that point, it's game over. You wait 7 days, you can't get a CA-16, which pays all your medical bills for 60 days that you never have to pay back, no matter what. When you wait 30 days, not only do you not get a 16, but you also don't have the option to elect continuation of pay, which would pay you for time off. God forbid you should need to be out of work. I always say the surest way to get paid is to clock in. Well, the next surest way to get paid is to be on COP, because for 6 weeks they have to pay you. Unless your supervisor tries to controvert COP, but I'm going to get to that too. So reporting immediately is the number one thing you can do to get your claim accepted. Because when you wait, people start asking questions. Well, why did you wait? In fact, there's a question on the CA2, I think, that asks, what took you so long, basically. We don't want to have to answer that question. And the faster you report, the faster your claim gets accepted. The faster you get out of this mess and back to work on your way to retirement. So thing number one is report immediately. Immediately means when?
Now.
Now is the soonest possible time to do anything is right now. So when you get hurt, report immediately. Like stop and call your supervisor right now. And then go back to your station and fill out your CA1, your CA2, and get that done right away. So report immediately. Number two, choose your doctor. All right, don't let someone choose a doctor for you. I just talked about 3 doctors who wanted to charge people or have them write their own narrative. Those are not doctors I would ever choose. Our doctors are not allowed to do anything of the sort. We don't charge you a penny for anything ever, no matter what.
Yeah, there's no
matter
catch.
what.
There's no catch. Remember, no catch.
And if our doctors even dreamed of asking you to write the narrative, after I was done being embarrassed, I'd probably kick them out. So, but choose your own doctor, because when you go to the wrong doctor, it's an instant denial. I mean, almost all denials, I'd say more than 9 out of 10, are denied because a doctor wrote a bad narrative or there wasn't one at all, right? Which is back to the doctor. I mean, I can't emphasize this enough. The choice of doctor is so critical, and it's your choice. I mean, the law says that you have the right to choose or initial selection of physician. That's your choice. It also says supervisors can't get in the way of your right to choose, and that you can't be forced to go to a doctor who's employed by or under contract with the agency, which screams VA, right? A hospital. You don't have to go to your VA doctors if you're a VA employee. In fact, if you do, I will almost guarantee you that your claim will get denied. As I always say, those are world-class doctors with almost no OWCP training. And their mission is the patient. You're not the mission. You're the employee. So you got to go to a doctor where you're the mission, okay? Like these, right? But choose your doctor carefully. Urgent cares get claims denied. ERs get claims denied. I mean, they don't write narrative reports. Seriously, they don't. And anyways, I think their EMRs generate all their reports, which are like nothing. Orthopedic surgeons don't get claims accepted because they just do surgery. They don't write reports. They don't have time for that.
There's 1 in every 10.
Yeah, I mean, sure, there's an exception to the rule. But unfortunately, in denied claims, the rule is you're going to get a denied claim. The exception is the approval. I'm teaching you how to make the approval the rule, okay? Your family doctor doesn't know anything about OWCP, and chiropractors in almost all situations can't do what you need anyways until it's time for therapy. So, which doesn't mean you can't go to a chiropractor. That's wrong too when they tell you that. If your medical doctor works in your chiropractor's office, you can go to the chiropractor. I mean, it's just common sense. So choose your doctor carefully. It is so important that you make the right choice and you don't let someone else choose for you. Okay, that's a big deal. So report immediately, choose your doctor. Here's one that I've never said before, but because it happens all the time, and there are still places where there's not a federal injury center's office to help you, I want to tell you that if you go someplace and see a nurse practitioner or a PA, which if you go to an urgent care, that's going to happen. If you go to your family practice doctor, it's very likely, if it's a busy practice, they have a mid-level like a nurse practitioner or PA, and you'll see them. If you see a nurse practitioner or a PA, demand that they get a medical doctor countersignature. You tell them, whatever you do, I need an MD signature on this page. Demand it. Do not allow them to sign it without an MD countersignature. Because nurse practitioners and PAs are fine. We employ them in almost all of our practices. In almost every office we have one. But they are always required to get a countersignature of the MD because that's the rule. It's the only way. I read a denial letter today where the reason for the denial was primarily that the nurse practitioner didn't get an MD countersignature. Okay, it happens all the time. Ron Jackson just said that happened to him. Yeah, it happens all the time. So demand an MD signature. Do not leave without it. Okay, this is new. I've never said it. I don't know why, but if you're going to be stuck in an area where you just don't have any other options, then you got to take the bull by the horns, and be in charge. It's your case. Be in charge of it. So that was 3. Number 4, this almost never happens, okay? And so this is why we have it done in our office. Write a detailed employee statement. When you come to federal injury centers on your first day, we hand you a employee statement form and say, write a detailed statement. Because, we're invested in you getting your claims approved. And we know that if you write a great detailed statement, it helps our doctors write great detailed reports. So write a detailed employee statement. If you go to breakingowcp.com and go to the free forms tab, you're going to find a form on there that is going to guide you in writing your detailed employee statement. Don't avoid that. It's so critically important. Write a statement for how your injury happened. But go get that form at breakingowcp.com, because it really is going to, it's going to ask you questions to help you write a better report. It's really important that you do it. So write a detailed employee statement of what happened, and then give it to your doctor and insist that they incorporate that into their narrative report. Our doctors do this automatically. Okay, they read your statement. If they have more questions, they ask you, so they have more detail, and then they start writing their report inside their EMR. Number 5, don't let your doctor diagnose you with pain. Okay, it doesn't mean you're not in pain, but pain is not a valid diagnosis in OWCP. If a doctor, for example, diagnoses you with low back pain, the denial letter will say specifically your claim is denied because pain is not a valid diagnosis. Instead, insist on your doctor diagnosing what's causing the pain. If you have low back pain, is it a herniated disc? Is it a lumbar sprain? Okay, let's find out what's causing the pain. Do not allow your doctor to turn in a narrative with a pain diagnosis, even if they have 8 other great solid diagnoses. If the pain diagnosis is in there, more times than not, it's going to get denied. So don't allow a pain diagnosis. And that's new too. I've never told you that in those terms. You've got to be sure that you are keeping track of what the doctor's doing. So you're going to get a detailed employee statement and make sure the doctor incorporates it into their narrative. You're going to demand your nurse practitioner or PA get an MD signature, and you're going to make sure your doctor doesn't diagnose you with pain, okay? If you do those 3 things, you're cutting out lots of reasons I see for denials, just with those 3. So don't let your doctor diagnose pain. The next thing you can do to have a better shot at getting your claim approved is tell your supervisor to give you copies of everything you fill out. When you fill out the CA1 or CA2, supervisors very often say they don't have to give it back, or they will very cowardly not give you the second page that they filled out. And yeah, cowardly. I said it exactly the way I meant it, okay? If they write something bad on there, they're too chicken-esque to give you the second page, because they don't want you to see it. They don't want the confrontation. Demand that you get copies. If you go to the Rules, Laws, and Regulations chapter in this book, you're going to see the rule or the law in the Code of Federal Regulations that specifically says supervisors are required to give you copies of both sides of the form, CA1 or CA2. When they tell you that they don't have to, you got to show them the law. The reason this is so critically important is especially related to the CA1. The back of the CA1, the supervisor has 3 questions that they're asked. They're asked a lot of questions, okay, but there are 3 in particular that negative answers can cause your claim to be denied. And when that happens, we're kind of like behind the gun. We want to be able to, we want to hit this right in the beginning. When your doctor has a copy of that second page, then they can address that in their narrative report. And we are going to discuss narratives, but one of the things that our doctors do, and it's even kind of new, actually, since this year, they take that second page and they specifically write about it in a very detailed way. For example, if the supervisor says this was not in performance of duty, the doctor will explain the role and how it was in performance of duty. Or if it was due to willful misconduct, like we just saw somebody who tripped over something on the sidewalk. I mean, if you're carrying a package and there's a raised area in the sidewalk, it's easy to see how you might trip. Well, the supervisor said it was willful misconduct, which is the stupidest thing ever. And so our doctor had a good time with that supervisor in their narrative report. And also it tells you, the last question on the second page is if the supervisor is going to controvert continuation of pay. Don't you want to know if you're not going to get paid? So demand copies of everything and take it to your doctor, because your doctor is going to use that in their narrative report. Even if your supervisors say nothing bad about you, our doctors still write about it and make sure that we point out that even the supervisor agrees, okay? So when you bring copies of everything to the doctor, your doctor has a chance to argue what the supervisor said before it becomes an issue with the claims examiner. So get copies of everything. And don't forget, if for nothing else, get the book, go to the rules, laws, regulations chapter, and flag that chapter, because every time your supervisor does something against the rules, you got to be able to say, yeah, but the Code of Federal Regulations says, or yeah, but the United States Code says. You do that to protect yourself from uninformed or maliciously intended supervisors. Okay, so we want to be able to combat the craziness that they're trying to pull. So get copies of everything. Number 7. For CA1 claims, box 16 on the first page of the CA1, it's at the very bottom, says witness statement. Get a witness statement. And in fact, I'll tell you all, be a witness. If you see something, say something. It's so overplayed, but it's true. In OWCP, a witness statement can be the thing that makes or breaks a case. I have a famous story. I mean, to me it's famous, again, in this book, about a guy named Gilbert. He used to work for the Miami VA, and Gilbert's claim was denied for like 8 straight years.
Yep.
Until we met him. And we figured out that he didn't have a witness, and he got hurt by lifting a person. And so thank God the person he lifted was still alive, and they were able to track this guy down, and the patient that he lifted, hurting his back, wrote a witness statement, and the claim got approved 8 years later just because of a witness statement. So get a witness statement. If you show up to the doctor with a CA1 form and box 16 is blank, that's a problem. Our offices are trained to see a blank box 16 and say, but was there a witness? And they're going to ask you to go back and get a witness statement because it's so important. So get a witness statement and be a witness. Most people don't want to fill it out because they don't want to get involved because they're scared of their supervisor. Don't be scared of your supervisor. All right, by and large, most of you are in your unions, and for the most part, your unions are very strong and willing to fight for you. Don't be scared of your supervisor, okay? It's okay to put down a witness statement when you are a witness. If it wasn't, it wouldn't be on the form. So get a witness and be a witness. Very, very important. That was number 7. Number 8, and I'll go back and recap this in a minute. Number 8 is your doctor's narratives have to be extremely detailed. I see denial letters all the time, and in the denial letter, they always say, because every denial letter is roughly the same, they always say what evidence they considered to make their denial. If they approve it, they don't do that. But every single time something is denied, I'll look and say, well, wait, what did they receive? And they'll receive like a doctor's note, or an x-ray report, or an MRI report, or whatever. That stuff's important, but it's more important in the bigger picture. You got to have a detailed narrative. Our narratives are like 3 to 5 pages long, and they're concise, but they're extremely detailed. Okay, very, very detailed. When our narratives go in, there's no question that it was a case worthy to be approved. Okay. Here's what's in the narratives, and if you're writing this stuff down, write it down. Otherwise, just go back and rewatch this later, and you can write it down then. But your job description needs to be in there. So it's helpful if you bring a job description to your doctor, because they don't always know what you do physically for a living. They don't know what kinds of heavy lifting you have to do, or how far you have to walk, or how many floors of stairs you have to climb, and so forth. So we always include a job description. We want our claims examiners to know that, look, we definitely know what's going on with this person. We know everything about this person. And then the doctor has to include details of what happened. Okay, they can't just say you bent over and picked up a box and hurt your back. That's a denial waiting to happen. When I'm training doctors, before I talk about how detailed a narrative needs to be, I tell them, remember this: nobody ever got hurt just by lifting a package. You're going to be saying, well, yeah, I got hurt lifting a package. It's not true. You got hurt by bending forward at a 90-degree angle, lifting a package that weighed approximately 55 pounds. You felt pain in your lower back that was roughly 8 out of 10. You fell to your knees. You called your supervisor. After a little while, you were able to grab a tree limb and get yourself back up. And, you have to put a ton of detail in it, okay? A lot of detail on how the injury happened. And then you got to have the doctor connect the dots medically, because they'll say that you bent over, picked up a package, and hurt your back, but then they don't say, and that injury was a herniated disc, or and that injury was a sprain, and here's what a sprain is, and here's how it happens. or here's what a herniation is, and here's how that happens. So they got to connect the dots medically. Then they got to include their exam findings, their physical exam. And then they got to use a proper diagnosis. Remember, pain is not a diagnosis. So those are the key parts of a narrative. And, if your doctor is not including this stuff, your claim's going to get denied, period. They just will. Number 9, tell your doctor to e-comp everything, okay? We love the mail. We use the mail for everything. When I ship books out, I use USPS. We love USPS, but these are pressing, and e-comp is instant. You don't have to wait for the mail to be delivered. It's instant.
Create an account.
And when you e-comp something, it gives you what's called a DCN number, which stands for Document Control Number. DCN with the date and time that was uploaded. We hear claims examiners say that they didn't get it. Well, no, and we didn't get a narrative from your doctor. Well, the DCN number says, here's the number. It was uploaded at 9:58 a.m. on 10/12/2021. Oh, you mean that document? Yeah, we got that document. So you want your doctor to e-comp everything, and it's easy. Go to ecomp.dol.gov. Doctors can just hit the upload document. They got to know some personal stuff about you. You can also e-comp information. You just have to create an account, which is easy. Okay, anybody can do it. Millions of people have. So e-comp everything. It's faster, and it helps you track everything that went in. So claims examiners can't claim that they never got it. And number 10, denials are not a cause for panic. They happen. Even with the very best narrative report, denials happen. It's just part of the deal. We overcome them. When you get a denial, the last page of your denial letter is going to be a form called an appeal request form. You select reconsideration. If they require you to write up why you want to reconsider it, go ahead and do that, and then e-comp it, and then take your denial letter to your doctor, have them read the paragraph that says specifically your claim is denied because, and address that in a new narrative report, and then have them e-comp that. You can do an unlimited number of reconsiderations if you never miss the 12-month deadline. Because when you do a reconsideration, you have 12 months to appeal. So you can wait almost 12 months to turn in your request for reconsideration, and it will still be heard and reviewed by the claims examiner. It's the best option for an appeal, in my opinion, because it allows new information from the doctor, and it gives you 12 months to get that new information, so it's awesome. A few weeks ago, at like 11:30 or 11:45 p.m., a woman messaged her, and she just happened to look at her messages at that time of night, which isn't normal. We're going to go to bed. And the lady said, I'm about to miss my reconsideration deadline. What do I do? And she was very fortunate because I had a blank appeal request form on my phone that we got sent over to her. She was able to fill it out and e-comp it with just a few minutes to spare. Don't be like that, okay? You want to be able to be on time, know your deadlines. So if you know your deadlines, you can't miss them. But those are the 10 things that if those are done, your odds of getting a claim approved go way up, way up. And I think if everyone will do all 10 of those things, we're going to put a serious dent into OWCP.
And touching from what he was saying when you're filing a reconsideration and getting a denial, actually, just because you get a denial doesn't mean you need to hire an attorney.
Yeah, no.
We get this advice from Eric. Do not hire an attorney just because you get a denial.
That's right.
File for reconsideration. Always file for reconsideration. And then find another doctor or take your denial so the doctor can fix it. Don't waste money to get an attorney that's going to charge you, like one that Chris said at the beginning, charged her $900 just to write a report.
Well, that was the doctor.
No, that was $500 for the doctor, $900 for the attorney.
Oh, that's crazy.
So don't do that. File reconsideration. Call us. I see all the time on all these posts, hire attorney, hire attorney, hire attorney. As soon as somebody says, I got a denial, everybody says that.
That's wrong advice.
That's wrong advice. Yeah. You guys save your money. This is the word you guys use. Lawyer up. Every time on a post, that's what I was trying to look for. Every time on a post and somebody tags me, all I see is everybody commenting, lawyer up, call your congressman or woman.
Now, I like the call your congressman or woman. I like that, but
get a doctor. Find another doctor first, or have your doctor fix it,
yeah.
Or call us and we'll walk you through it.
Yep.
And also, somebody asked, I can't remember where it went. Somebody asked that the Texas offices that we have are 200 miles away from you, and all of you are asking for different states. We can only bring the doctor on if the doctor is interested. All these doctors that are on our team right now have dedicated part of their practice to doing this. They are dedicated.
But most doctors say no to us. They don't want it.
I mean, 3 out of 5 say no. Let's just put it that way.
No, 4 out of 5. And it's really frustrating because, we're desperate to find doctors because you desperately need them. And it's hard to, I can't make these doctors say yes. I just can't. But the ones that have, you can find our locations tab at federalinjurycenters.com. And, there's like 50-something of them now.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. I mean, prior to this, how many were there? Well, there was less.
0.
There's a lot less than 50-something. So,
be patient.
Well, I don't think you have to be patient. But
Texas is big.
I mean, you can drive 18 hours and still be in Texas,
yes.
So I know.
We know.
But, look, we do have a guy in San Antonio who's coming on. He's already signed up, and I think he started his training. So there's that. We're working on it. I think Joe's talking to someone in Austin. And as I understand it, our McKinney office wants to open up in Fort Worth. So a second office. So we are working on it, I understand. And that goes for every state. We're working on it. We're just doing the best we can.
Okay, Renee Cheney. This is where the questions start now. Now you can machine gun me with the questions. Renee Cheney says, is it okay to have my attorney help with the denial if my doctor is taking too long?
You can definitely do that. There's no problem, but your medical doctor's got to sign off on any report that goes in.
Deborah Brooks said they even put that in a safety talk. If we trip, it would be our fault if we are to look where we step. Oh.
Well, yeah, I understand. They're going to try to make it your fault, but here's the beauty of it. If your supervisor says that it's due to willful misconduct and your doctor says that's ridiculous, they just ignore the supervisor. The doctor's evidence holds all the weight. All of it. So your supervisor's just making themselves look like idiots.
Crystal said, can we go to a federal injury trained doctor in a different state than we reside?
You sure can. So here's the rule. It says you have the right to initial selection of physician. It does not say you have the right to initial selection of physician as long as it's close to home. So you just gotta look at the law and go, well, it says I can choose any doctor. Now here's the deal. You may not be able to get reimbursed for mileage and other travel expenses if it's too far, but the cost of travel is far cheaper than the cost of denial.
Yeah.
Right, Tanya?
Tiffany said, I have a witness, and DOL said the witness didn't fill out the statement correctly.
Well, I'm not sure what the correct way to fill out a witness statement is. I mean, you could get a witness statement like Gilbert did on another piece of paper, typed up in a different document 8 years later.
Yeah.
So as long as a witness statement is true, that's BS.
Anna Lance said, can I go to a federal injury center after I have already been seen by another doctor?
You can. If you went to one doctor once, that's probably okay. If you went twice, you're probably okay. If you kept going back, then that's your doctor of record, and you'll probably need to request a change of treating doctor or ask for a referral or ask your doctor to write a letter relieving themselves from your case. I want to be very clear. We have doctors. The purpose of having doctors is because you have a problem not having doctors. Just because we have doctors does not mean that I'm encouraging you to leave your doctor, because we don't do that. If you love your doctor, you should stay with your doctor, okay? That's my policy. That's our company policy. We are not here to try to convince you to leave a good doctor that you like.
Abu said, are you guys going to open in Philadelphia?
As a matter of fact, we have a doctor who has signed up right outside of Philadelphia. So stand by. We're in training.
Portal Maria said, a lady that saw how disoriented I was when I fell didn't want to get involved in writing out any kind of narrative. Ugh.
I know, that's awful. I'm sorry that happened, but when it's them, they'll want you to write a witness statement. And I hope you will, I hope you will, but everyone needs to get on board with this. Write a witness statement. It can be a difference maker. And, when we were being able to go to these union meetings prior to COVID, one thing that always struck me is how when you're in a union meeting, people refer themselves to each other as brother or sister. And I think, what wouldn't you do for your brother or sister?
Yeah.
So, I think you got to live that 24/7. So be a witness, get a witness.
Victor Sanchez said, thank you for loving the USPS.
You're welcome, Victor. We do.
Jeremy Manning said, "Can you get a schedule award for an aggravated injury claim?"
Yeah. If it's a qualified body part, yes.
M. Kite said, "Hi, I spoke with you about Charlotte office. Did you find out anything?" Who did you speak to?
Yeah, who was it? Was it me? I don't recall. Sorry. I speak to thousands of people. Remind me. I'll be happy to answer.
Mike Fox said, "Well, Chris Helms, well said, Chris Helms. Don't be afraid of your supervisor. Thanks to Ron Speakman, I drink my coffee with your hashtag file a grievance mug, and I'm not afraid to wear the same hashtag file a grievance shirt to the office while I case my route, as one of our co-workers calls it, LOL. That's awesome."
Yeah, that is. And don't forget, for those of you that are interested in that stuff, there's you go to breakingowcp.com. There's a button that says gear.
Yeah.
And you can just go there and get a good laugh. I think some of it's funny, but I'm the author of it, so I would.
Wouldn't it be funny?
You be the judge of that.
Wouldn't it be funny if all of you, seriously, that are in all crafts at all agencies, bought like a Stupidvisor cup or a T-shirt for your Stupidvisor for Christmas? Don't forget, Christmas is coming.
When Rich Ray came to the office, he was wearing the
hashtag knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power shirt,
yeah. Renee Marie said, "Are restrictions considered when you have to travel for a doctor? Meaning, if the round trip is more hours driving than your doctor recommends, does that make DOL more likely to approve an overnight stay?"
I don't know about that, but what you have to do regardless is to contact your claims examiner and ask. But I can definitely speak to as to whether or not, the work restrictions. If you're restricted from driving a certain distance or time, and this appointment is going to make you drive that distance or time, I can tell you this. When you get there, the second opinion doctor is going to say, so you can drive, right? And so now it's just going to screw up your CA-17. So you want to be careful with that. Follow your doctor's orders on the CA-17 and make sure your claims examiner understands that if they're sending you too far, that's going against your doctor's restrictions. You need to make that clear.
Ron Speakman said, "Lawyer up." I know, that's funny. That's exactly what they say on these posts. They have no clue, and then they kick me off because I tell them what to do. Nicole Kelly said, "How many times should we file a reconsideration?"
As many times as it takes, Nicole. There's no, look, just win, right? Al Davis for the Raiders used to say, "Just win, baby. Just win." If it takes another one, do another one. But there's no limit to the number you can do.
Jeremy Karskadin said, "My claim has been accepted for medical benefits only. I've turned in 2 CA7s and a CA7A. I'm missing work to go to therapy 6 hours a week. Will those lost hours be covered under this claim?" You're supposed to be going.
So they will absolutely be covered with your CA7, but remember, you got to attach all the documentation that I'm always talking about. You got to attach your CA-17, a copy of it, to your CA-7s and 7A. You need to attach a printout of your appointments from the doctor. Some people don't have that stuff, so that's another thing I've made for you. If you go to breakingowcp.com, there's a form on there that your doctor can fill out. It's so simple that actually you could fill it out, just have your doctor sign it. It's so easy. That is proof that you were at the doctor. So I made that just so you would get paid. So attach those, attach a CA-20, and attach a disability narrative. In other words, it's your doctor writing a short narrative explaining why it was necessary for you to be out of work. Attach those things or you're not going to get paid.
Nicole Kelly said, "I'm in with you people, and I still haven't been accepted in Florida."
Well, you will be. So here's the deal. All timely filed, which is filed within 3 years, legitimate claims, meaning it actually happened at work, should be approved eventually. Like I said, denials happen, but as I said in number 10, denial is not cause for panic, it's cause for reconsideration. So, send us a message, let me see your denial letter, and we'll make sure that the doctor knows what to do to overcome it.
And on top of that, when that claims examiner messaged me, he said it normally takes 30 to 90 days because there's so many. There's like 2.9 million of you guys, and maybe like 100 of them.
Well, I don't know. There's probably more than that, but it's a fractional number.
Yeah.
But I was encouraged today because that denial that I read, I don't like denials, but I did notice that the denial happened in 2 weeks.
Well, some places.
It was fast. So,
So just give it some time.
Maybe the claims examiners are doing a better job at that. I don't know.
Francis Lockstead, I haven't received any reports from my current doctor, and they work with federal injury centers. When something is going on in the doctor's office, call them.
Yeah.
First call them and say, hey, I just would like a status on my narrative or what's going on. If you don't get any answer, please message me.
Yeah.
I'm able to get to them like that because it's easy for me.
Yeah, and
So
some
you
of this
message
is
us.
some of this may be growing pains too. I mean, these are new offices; they're new to this thing. I'm not making excuses for mistakes, but we'll fix the mistakes. I appreciate you letting us know.
Crystal says, that's great. My doctor has been great, but is getting overwhelmed. Never gotten this far with a case like mine, so hoping to get in while we are visiting family near a center.
Yeah.
Stacy Giddings said, just had an FCE done. When I've got permanent restrictions, do I need to fill out any forms to keep my claim open for ongoing medical?
Nope. Your claim will stay open as long as there's activity on the claim. In other words, if you're going to see the doctor periodically or if you're in therapy periodically, the claim's going to stay open. They don't just close it. They'll close it if it's like inactive for a period of time.
Joanne Kessens, you're asking this question, but I don't know where you're at. You said off subject, are we getting any closer getting trained doctors on schedule awards? Well, all of our doctors, we're hoping by January, will be trained on doing schedule awards.
Yeah.
We are pushing it heavy.
Yeah, I talked to 3 of them today that are in process of training.
Yeah, it takes a little bit for them, so just hang tight. Just let us know where you're at, and I'll let you know if they're doing them or not.
Yeah, imagine this. So, like these, not just the doctors, the entire staff, from the receptionists, the medical assistants, the nurses, everybody, they all have to get trained in OWCP. They all have to be trained in this system. And on top of it, the doctors also have to go get trained to do an impairment rating, which is like a class all in itself. So it's a lot, and we're working on it.
Yeah, you have to remember, these people that are, even though they're doctors and they're front desk people, nurse practitioners, MDs, they're looking at this like a foreign language. They don't even know what OWCP means. They don't even know what DOL means. So imagine our team having to train them from that little thing and all the stuff they need to know, from forms to telling them how they have to go get trained for impairment ratings, and don't send them to a PI attorney. You got to call a federal attorney. It's like all this is new. So please be patient. But if there's any issues and you don't call the office and you're not getting the answer, you could reach out to us on the messenger and somebody will answer your question.
And trust me, I'm the most impatient person I've ever known. And so asking you to be patient is not natural to me because I wouldn't ask it of myself. But I do appreciate it. I mean, we're doing the best we can to help you. And we have a lot of offices to train, and we're just making sure it all gets done right. For the couple of folks that are going to a Federal Injury Center's office and you're having some problems, you'd be doing me a huge favor if you'd send us a message and tell us where it's at so that I can address it myself. I'm not like other people. Some people hate to hear complaints. I hate that there's a reason for complaints. You complain all the time.
Yeah.
I hate that there's a reason for complaints. I want to fix it, so I actually welcome the opportunity to fix it. So let us know, please.
Emma said, I like my doctor. My surgery for my left ankle was denied after my claim was accepted for my left ankle, right shoulder, and right hip. I'm stuck. What do I need to do again?
Well, I mean, if you have something denied, you have to take the denial letter to your doctor, have your doctor address the denial letter, and you've got to file for reconsideration. And you have 12 months from the date of denial to do it, so don't wait till the last minute.
Marty said, I heard you had a great open house in New York there. There was a lot of union support. How can we get the same union support in Boston? It seems like the unions in Boston are not as helpful as New York. Why?
I can't answer that, but maybe somebody here can.
MCAT said, sent message on Messenger about them wanting me to do PT in order to be helped. Okay, I'm going to go in after this and have Chris take a look at that. We have Dr. Chris, Dr. Suma, and Dr. Andrew all on tonight. So those of you that are in the Pinellas Park, Clearwater, Palm Harbor, all of that, Dunedin, Spring Hill, call these guys.
Those are your guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on, guys.
Ron Speakman said, never give up, people. Fight for yourself and your rights. Everyone thinks they've been through the shit, and that may be very well, but one thing is certain that we all should have in common. Never give up. Keep fighting. Your rights and these benefits are owed to you. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Well said.
Yep.
Do you have a lawyer to get a schedule award? So you don't need an attorney for that.
You didn't read it just right. Do you have to have a lawyer?
No, you don't.
No. You don't have to have a lawyer to get a schedule award, but here's what happens. When they're denied, sometimes you need a lawyer. And that's not even in always. But when you do, be sure you're contacting a federal lawyer.
Oh, gee. Sorry. Tiffany Takis said, my case was approved for 3 months. It was closed abruptly. I was seeing an OWCP doctor that was assigned to me, and they were sending me to the therapist. I'm now being sent $7,000 plus in medical fees. I only saw the therapist when I had an approved case. I called them, and they said to just get a lawyer or pay them. Ouch.
Really?
I just got my appeal denied and talked to my new doctor today to see if they can help. Unfortunately, your closest office is 3 hours away. I mean, if the closest office is 3 hours away, I would go. I know that sucks.
That's painful, but also I'd like you to send us a private message because I don't want to put somebody on blast here on social media, but send us a private message with who it is that's billing you. I'd be very interested in seeing if I can help you never get a bill again. Mm-hmm. So that's just another thing we'll do to help. I would probably be happy to call the PT facility and just say, hey, do you even know how to bill this stuff? And then they'll stop billing you.
Miguel Barrera said, can a 20-year-old claim be reopened even if I'm retired now?
Yeah, you have lifetime medical benefits with OWCP, and so if there's a medical reason to do so, it can be done. You got to go to your doctor, have your doctor write a narrative explaining it.
Tiffany also said, would I
and call your claims examiner, let them know this is going to be happening.
Tiffany also said, will I be liable to pay these bills even when my case was approved at the same time of the office visits?
Again, I can't speak for that. I think it's a physical therapy center. I can't speak for them. But OWCP is a sole remedy in a work injury claim, okay? If your therapy center didn't get pre-authorization, they're not going to get paid. If they didn't put the proper diagnosis down, they're not going to get paid. I mean, there's little stupid things that they can do to make mistakes where they don't get paid, and so they come after you. I think I can help them stop making those mistakes.
Luana said, just received approval for total knee replacement with sprain as a diagnosis code. They haven't updated this since I first did it. H.M. Rosa said, intentionally all doctor visits were under an accepted claim which was believed to be related to the injury until it was found to be completely unrelated. Fast forward, diagnosis notes, etc., MRI, and was under accepted claim even though CE said documents received, they were not under the new CA2 claim, being sent to CCOP for determination. I'm exhausted. CCOP this month. Help.
I just need to see it again. So when they're kind of lengthy like that, I forget. So initially all doctor's visits were under an accepted claim, which is believed to be related to injury until it's found to be completely unrelated for us.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Documents received. They were not under the new CA2 claim. Move it. So being sent to CCOP for determination, I'm exhausted. Yeah, so you're going to have to go to that second opinion. There's no way to avoid it. But what you need to do is go to your doctor first, have your doctor fill out a new CA17, a new CA20, and write a narrative explaining what's going on with you right now, and take that stuff. When you get to the second opinion doctor and you sign in and the receptionist wants you to hand your papers to them, don't. Hold it firmly in your hand and don't let go until you see the doctor, and then I want you to reach out and put it in the doctor's hand. Make them take it. Because too often they don't read the information that's sent to them, and they just make an adverse determination against you. I want you to have a fighting chance at winning these things, so let that doctor read what your doctor says. Supervisor refused to give me paperwork. I went to HR. My HR representative told me numerous times that she sent paperwork and never did. File a grievance. Also contact OSHA, 1-800-321-OSHA. I had to write my senator and congressman. I spoke with the HR manager. My supervisor refused to allow me to speak with my postmaster. You need to go to your union to get help. She refused to give me any paperwork, and she is the one who removed me. She said the post office doesn't have light duty. I'm permanently, partially disabled. Yeah, that's a job for the union. I mean, they need to be fighting for you. So I would go speak to your union rep.
Joanne said, are you getting any doctors in St. Louis, Missouri?
Yeah, I mean, St. Louis is definitely on our radar. It's a huge area with a big need, so yeah, we're trying. We almost had a couple almost.
Ron Speakman said, everyone please consider buying #FileAGrievance coffee mug and or t-shirt. Let's all get one and take them to the office on the same day. Let's coordinate that and do it. Unity. Enough is enough from management. Let's go.
If that happens, that'd be so funny.
Renee Marie said, is it common for a claims examiner to ask for another employee statement for what has happened since the injury and to include harassment issues with management and doctors?
I don't know if I'd call that common, but I don't see a problem with it.
Bama Edwards said, question, when filling out a 1032, when it asked, did you work for any employer during the past 15 months? Does this include time working in the post office before having to go out due to your previous injury?
Yeah, I mean, they just want to, so what they're trying to find out is, do you have other employment? Are you getting paid somewhere else? And, you know, you're hurt here, are you able to do a job someplace else with no restrictions? You know, so that's kind of what they're asking. They really want to know about outside employment, but you can go ahead and put your post office employment, obviously, just to be very thorough.
Mary Golden, I love you guys. You have
we love
helped
you
me get where I am. Deborah Brooks, is Charlotte doing schedule awards yet?
If they're not, they're almost finished with training, but that's an absolute. You're going to be able to do schedule awards in Charlotte. In fact, Eric has been spending a lot of time there because he's local. And he was just there, I think, last week doing an in-service or a training with the doctors on how to do impairment ratings. So, yeah, I just talked my way into a yes. That's a yes.
Renee Marie said, a friend who is a lawyer suggested looking into disability since treatments haven't helped me so far. Injury occurred over a year ago. Is there a time to do that or only when the doctor says you're out for options?
Well, okay, in order to qualify for federal disability from the Office of Personnel Management, OPM, it requires your doctor to medically place you in that condition. He's got to say, or she has got to believe that you are disabled from that position. This is not an OWCP question. I just happen to know the answer. For federal disability, it is a medical decision. It's not something you can just decide. If you and your doctor talk and decide, you can't do your job anymore, it doesn't mean you can't do another job. It just means you can't do that one. Then, you would qualify for federal disability. I saw Dr. Cooper's on.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
Dr.
Cooper said, please understand as a doctor in this program, it's not just the training. We hear your stories. This isn't normal, and we are here to help you get this done. But it isn't a process we control. To hear a supervisor drove to a serious accident and told the carrier he would have to pay if the ambulance took him to the hospital. Who does that? We get your situations are often dire, and we are here to help. We aren't overwhelmed. We are people who feel your pain, and being in trenches next to you is a process. Please, like Michelle on our team, doesn't sleep trying to make sure each case is taken care of. Yeah. We are with you to win, but it may take some time, but we are here. Point
well said.
on.
Yeah, Dr. Cooper is in Phoenix City, Alabama, which is like Columbus, Georgia. And he's also in Forest Park, which is Atlanta. You could see the airport from his office. No.
And thanks to the Helms for leading this.
Thanks, Dr. Cooper.
Marshall Rodriguez said, I have a question. Recently, I've caught COVID and had a heart attack because of it. Oh my gosh. I filed an e-comp claim, but has to go through approval through the supervisor, and it has been approved yet, and it has been 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make sure your supervisor does their part. I'd go tomorrow or call tomorrow and say, hey, what's up with that?
Alex Lee said, I'm currently on my 45-day COP pay. My claim has been approved and was told I have a partial tear on my shoulder and waiting for an appointment with the specialist. My COP ends 11/20. Should I file a CA7 957 already, or do I need to wait?
You start. Okay, actually, COP runs out the second your claim is approved. Believe it or not, it's not 45 days. If your claim is approved earlier, it's gone. So you have to immediately start filling out CA7s and maybe 7As for your time off. And as far as 957 forms and OWCP 915 forms as well, now that your claim's approved, you can start submitting those. So definitely get all that stuff filled out. And congratulations on getting your claim approved.
So Marshall Rodriguez, the question that he asked, he reposted that it hasn't been approved for his COVID and the heart attack that he got. He said, I filed the e-com claim, but has to go through approval through the supervisor, and it hasn't been approved yet, and it's been 3 days.
It's got to go through the supervisor, meaning the supervisor's got to go do their part. It's like filling out the second page of the CA1, but they're doing these COVID claims on eComp.
Tiffany said, I found out that HR manager wrote a statement that was cones in the spot I fell and I was working unsafe by walking in that area. I have photos taken right after the accident, the timestamps proving straight up lie to DOL, and where no cones in the area. Is there any action I can take against this for the lady for straight out lying?
So you're going to have to make sure your doctor addresses it in the medical narrative, like specifically. Everything you just said, make sure your doctor is saying it in a way that makes sense to the claims examiner. Also, I would go ahead and talk to your union. I'm not sure what the unions can do, but this sounds like a case where like you could file labor board charges. Maybe. I'm not an expert on those, but I kind of like the idea of it. So maybe that's where you start.
Marshall Rodriguez also said, I was wondering through eComp, do they also cover any medical bills I incur since it was a work exposure?
Yeah. Once it's approved, they cover your medical bills.
Francis Locke said, I was sent to get treatment to...
Hold on. Don't read that yet. I'm going to go 2 questions back. I'm even thinking maybe like postal inspector may be a good way to go for the person who their supervisor lied and made a false statement.
Oh.
That may be something too.
Tiffany. That's for you, Tiffany.
Okay.
Okay. Francis said, okay, whoops.
Or even the OIG. Post office has OIG.
Yeah.
Maybe file a complaint. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, but when supervisors knowingly make a false statement, they can be fined, imprisoned, or both. So it's a big deal.
Francis said, I was sent to get treatment to a chiropractor orthopedic doctor, but my previous case manager at a lawyer's office, when they found out the insurance was not going to pay, the lawyer no longer represented me, and I was told that workman's comp should pay it since it was a personal injury work comp. My case was taken by the lawyer as a WM. I don't know what the WM is. Alex Lee said, thank you guys. You guys are great.
Thanks.
Ms. Thomas said, request investigation for lack of candor on the supervisor.
There you go.
There you go. She's a union president too, and a state union president, so take her advice.
Yep.
Jody McQueen said, my supervisor made false and conflicting statements as well. It was a labor board issue, plus a grievance was filed and interviews done. Right now, the grievance is in step 3, so I don't have an outcome yet.
But yeah, you're doing the stuff that I was kind of inclined to think, so that's good. Appreciate that, you saying that.
Marshall said, thank you very much, guys. Also, if I talk to my supervisor about it, what else can I do if she ignores the situation or denies it? Definitely talk to your union and file a grievance. Contact OSHA.
That stuff happens all the time.
Things.
So what she said.
Yeah, file a grievance. Go to your union. File a grievance. Contact OSHA immediately. Tell them your same story that you just told us here, and you can also do it anonymously online. But I would be contacting OSHA. That's BS. Joseph said, can you explain COP again when it ends?
Yeah, so continuation of pay is COP. It is 45 days 45 calendar days of pay. When you have a CA1 injury that is reported within 30 days of the injury. COP lasts for that 6-week period unless your claim is approved first. If your claim is approved first, COP is over that day. At that moment, you start filling out CA7s. So it ends at 45 days or when the claim is approved, whichever comes first.
Deborah Brooks said, file an EEO complaint against your supervisor for lying. There you go.
And see, that's the beauty of being in this. This is like our own community of people.
Yeah.
So you're getting information from us, but also there's plenty of people on here that have valuable stuff to add as well. So that's awesome. Keep that coming.
And because you guys are in the federal unions, it's good to take the advice from each other as well.
Yeah.
Because everybody on here has gone through some shape or form of this kind of stuff with their supervisor.
Yep.
Renee Marie said, I'm being told by my claims examiner not to file for pay until my doctor turns in an updated narrative to update the diagnosis. It hasn't been updated since December 2020 and is more severe than it was approved. She says it will be denied until things are updated. The doctor's being difficult. You all are far away and money is getting painfully tight. I don't know how to get the doctor to step up or get to a properly trained doctor.
Okay, send us a message on Facebook Messenger with your contact information. I have some ideas on how I think we can help.
Emanuela said, I turned mine into the Inspector General's office. I haven't heard anything yet. It's sad how postal workers are treated. And you know what? It's not just postal workers. It's everybody in the federal government. We hear it from
everywhere.
All crafts. Even the
All
prison,
agencies.
even FBI agents. We hear it. Border Patrol, everybody.
Yeah.
Carla Carvo said, hi guys, I have a surgery 3 years ago, left knee, and now probably I have a torn meniscus again in the same place. Can I open a new case or will it be the same case?
Well, that's a doctor's decision, okay? So you got to talk to your doctor. It's a great question. You got to find out from your doctor, is this related to the original thing or is this new? If it's new, you go fill out a new CA1 or CA2 depending on how it happened, okay? So
Mary Golden said, please, please, please include your work comp case number on every page you upload to eComp.
Yep.
She's right.
She's right.
H. Ambrosa said, can I run documentation by you to ensure I've done all that I can before
Yes. We're more than happy to look at it.
Melissa Wayne said, I have a labral tear in my hip. Orthopedic doctor keeps putting I have arthritis so he can give me a hip replacement. MRI showed tear, no arthritis. 4 months later, orthopedic did an x-ray and saw arthritis. They denied me compensation. He put me out for swelling and inflammation in my hip and thigh area. I had to get back to work on light duty because I wasn't getting paid. Orthopedic narrative report only says continued treatment. You need a new doctor.
Again,
You need to find a DOL doctor.
stay if you like your doctor. But if you're not happy with what's happening, don't just sit at the red light forever. You're going to have to run the red light.
Mary Golden, we have to advocate for ourselves. This platform is here to learn what we need to do. Yep, well said. Well, guys, we covered about narratives. Chris, if you just want to go over the 10 things real quick. If you guys didn't hear at the beginning, it's 10 things to get your claims approved, to do and not to do, just real quick.
So, number one, report your injury immediately. No delays, period. Report right away. Choose your doctor for yourself. Don't let someone choose your doctor for you. That is the law. All the laws are in this book. So definitely come pick up the books so you can fight with the law. It's the best way. If you see a nurse practitioner or a PA, demand that they get a counter signature of a medical doctor. Don't allow anything to go out of the office without an MD signature on it. It'll be an automatic denial. Write your own detailed employee statement is number 4. That information goes to your doctor, and you insist on your doctor incorporating your statement into their narrative report. Nobody knows better about what happened to you than you do. Number 5, don't let your doctor diagnose you with pain. Okay, pain is a symptom of something else. If you're diagnosed with pain, you're going to get denied. So make sure your doctor diagnoses what's causing the pain. Saying low back pain is a lazy diagnosis anyways, okay? We need to figure out what caused the pain. So don't allow your doctor to diagnose you with pain. It will definitely be denied. When you're filling out, number 6, when you're filling out your CA1 or CA2 with your supervisor, get copies of everything. Even when they tell you they don't have to, again, the law says otherwise. The law says they do have to give you copies of everything. So do that and take it to the doctor so they can use it in their narrative report. Get a witness statement in box 16 of the CA1 because a witness statement can make or break a case. So definitely do that. Make sure your narratives, number 8, are incredibly detailed. A detailed narrative is the best way to get a claim accepted, and a lack of detail is the number 1 reason claims get denied. Number 9, tell your doctor to e-comp everything and make a note of the document control number, the DCN, along with the date and time, so claims examiners can't claim they haven't seen it. And number 10, denials are not a reason to panic. Instead, do a reconsideration and tell your doctor to address the denial letter with a new narrative report.
So that's the top 10 things, to get a really good narrative to get accepted. And remember, Don't blame too much on the claims examiner because there's just a handful of them and 2.9 million of you.
Instead, take control, be in charge of your own case, be in charge of your doctor.
Yeah, and try not to tell everybody, lawyer up.
Yeah, that's not always the answer.
That's not always the answer.
It's usually not the answer.
If you get into a government vehicle accident, this goes for all agencies. All you need to do is find a federal attorney.
You should call Eric Blowers.
Call us to get his number if you don't have it. One of the girls, everybody in our staff have it. All of our doctors have it. Please report to the federal doctor first before you call a local PI attorney. I know what I'm talking about. I've been there. I've done that. So
She used to work for a busy PI lawyer.
yeah. So I understand.
Hi.
And here's Gizmo saying hi.
Gizmo's the star of the show.
Where's his bow tie? He got his bow tie from Aunt Mary yesterday from his haircut. And don't forget, next Wednesday night, if those of you that can make it, we'd love to meet you. We will be in Charlotte, North Carolina at Dr. Cox's office. Dynamic Health Carolinas is the name.
And so while we won't be live doing Wednesday night chats, we will be live from the office. So definitely check that out.
Again.
Oh, you guys want to see Gizmo again?
Yeah, he's getting all the love.
Hi.
Oh my God, he's like... Yeah, so we'll be there, and Eric Flowers is going to be there, and we know how much you guys all love Eric, so you might as well come on out, meet Eric.
So come see me and Eric.
Maybe me. I'll be in the background. We also have Tom coming.
Yep.
Tom, our other partner, is going to be there.
So you'll get to meet Tom. She's going to put him on live video, whether he likes it or not.
He's going to hate me after it. I'm going to tell him to fix his hair really cute.
But if you're in Ohio, yeah, fix his hair.
He doesn't have any hair.
But so Tom lives in Ohio. He's gonna drive into Charlotte. If you're in Ohio, we've got offices there too, and they have Tom. So check that out. You know, if you're over there and you need help.
Tanya Fieri said, I felt like I stopped living the last year. I gave up on everything and felt hopeless. Thanks to you both, I'm feeling hopeful. Aww.
No, we love you, Tanya.
Yeah, Jerry, his haircut looks good, right? We've been we take him to the same groomer for the last, 7 years.
And she had to go and get herself pregnant, and so we had to wait because she needed to go on maternity leave. So Gizmo was looking pretty funky for a little while.
Yeah, as you guys saw, all the stalker pictures that I post on my page between Ellie and Gizmo passed out.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, we look forward to seeing those of you in Charlotte, North Carolina. Don't forget, myself, Chris, Eric Blowers, and Tom will all be there at Dr. Cox's office. Following that, we will be in Pensacola and then Tallahassee the 17th and 18th. Thursday, Friday. We'll be in Tallahassee.
So we expect to see you there too.
Then we break for Thanksgiving, and the Monday after we head to Tucson, Arizona at Dr. Heaton's office, and then we will be in Miami for the Miami VA Christmas party.
If you're in Tucson and you know anybody that's with the Border Patrol in Tucson, let them know we're coming. One of the things I want to do is start helping that group because, as I understand it, they're getting
crushed,
and they're not getting any help.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to stop that too.
All right, guys. If you have I'm going to put a post on topics that you guys would like us to really focus on as we come to the end of the year. We are going to go over a lot about the rules, laws, and regulations, not about supervisors, just the rules, laws, and regulations, because this is a busy time of year for USPS. VA hospitals are going to get slammed. People are going to get sick. You're going to get injured. Federal accidents happen. So keep watching and we'll tell you what the next thing is going to be, and we'd like to get your feedback on what you guys want us to discuss.
Now that we're ending, you can all hit the shop button and go get your books at breakingowcp.com, and if you order them tonight, they'll be shipped out tomorrow.
Yeah, don't forget, Christmas is coming. Get the books. This could be a real lifesaver for somebody. Get your supervisor, your #file a grievance t-shirts and cups, face masks, hats, they're all there. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday live from Dr. Cox's office in Charlotte, North Carolina. Bye everyone.
See ya.